Boston Bros is number one thing not. You're dead wrong. You can catch me doing misbehaving with my products on. It's real boxing talk every time we meet with Ned, the TBE, and Conspiracy G. We bring it to you raw, unbiased. You know the deal. You can even get a poor dealer here from Dollar Bill with my guys by my side. You know we going live. All we need you to do is please like and subscribe. Boxing Bros. Peace.
All right. The next topic we're going to discuss is our reaction to Adrien Broner versus Giovanni Santiago. And in rare fashion, I'm going to go first. So for me, I want to start off by saying I picked Adrien Broner to win this fight. Um, I felt like, you know, I have a lot of respect for Adrien Broner in terms of I saw the weight loss, I saw the work he put in. I commend him for that. The fight was supposed to take place at 140, but then last minute they said that the weight limit was going to be 147, and that gave me some cause to pause. It gave me some concern. I'm saying, okay, so they just changed it. Was like, why? Obviously, my natural instinct is to say, well, I'm assuming Adrien Broner can't make 140, so they're going to do it at 147. Then the fight happened. During the fight, what I saw was Santiago outworking Adrien Broner, landing body punches. Broner did good work in spots, but in the end, I scored the fight for Santiago. I scored the fight for Santiago by 1 point. It would have been 2 points, but a point was deducted for hitting after the bell, although both fighters hit each other after the bell. So I don't know how they decided to deduct a point from Santiago. In my opinion, it was BS. I watched the fight rooting for Broner. I watched the fight wanting Broner to win. I watched the fight wanting Broner to come back. There was a lot of ring rust, and I think Santiago took the earlier rounds, but there was a stretch in there where Broner started to find his groove. He even landed the check left hook where Santiago almost went down. And this is what bothers me about like AB. If you watch when Adrien Broner lands that check left hook, Santiago almost hits the floor and AB's walking away looking cool. And I'm like, run up on him, knock him out. He's done. And AB just lets him get back up. Like, watch it. If you didn't see it, just watch when he lands that check left hook and Santiago's about to go down. AB just like does like a cool pose and then walks away. And I've seen several punches, some of the best, they run after you. If it was Wilder, if it was Joshua, if it was anyone else that landed that punch, they're running at the dude to take him out, and AB's walking away. Like, gotcha. And I'm like, AB, what are you doing? You had the fight right there. It's over right there. But you let the guy recover. And to me, it was just a frustrating thing to see. Every time AB let his hands go, he won the exchange. Every time AB decided to fight, it was easy for him. But he just didn't do enough. And I don't know if that's him losing. I think they say he lost like 40 pounds. If you follow AB, you know he lost a lot of weight. I commend him for losing all that weight. It was probably ambitious for him to try to get to 140, but it just looked like, I don't know. It's like AB's like too cool for school in the ring. It's like, bro, you gotta want it. You gotta go for it. And in the end, I had Santiago winning by 1 point. Now here, robbery. To me, robbery is when like somebody's won by like four, not even four, multiple rounds. Somebody's won by at least 3 rounds, and the judges give it to someone. I scored it for Santiago, so I think Santiago won. But I'm not gonna call it a robbery. Like, I watched the fight one time, I scored it live. That's the way I had it. Santiago wasn't complaining at the end of the fight. He said he felt like Adrien Broner did a good job. It was a close fight. It could have gone either way. Some of how I'm feeling could be my disappointment with the way AB performed, because I wanted AB to come in and look better than he did. So I don't know. Like, all I'm going to say is this. AB needs to get like this whole like talking in the ring, just like, yeah, I'm too sharp. Don't tell us you're too sharp. Prove you're too sharp. Your AB, I'm telling you, he could have won in impressive fashion when he landed the check left hook. Watch it. And this is the stuff with AB that I think like drives everyone crazy when they say like the dude got the talent, but he just don't put it together during the fight. So I scored it for Santiago by 1 point because of the point deduction. AB had his moments. AB landed the better punches. He landed the more flashier punches. So if the judges scored for that, I can't get upset. I'm not going to say it's a robbery. Either way, the fact that we're talking about a close fight with Jovanie, Santiago, and Adrien Broner is a bad sign for Adrien Broner. I always hope this guy puts it together. He did it. And I'll close with this. AB in typical fashion, though, gives you just outside of boxing stuff to talk about. He skills at Steve Farhood. Like, Steve Farhood, you scored it against me, you punk. Then he says, we popping bottles, we having sex.
That was wild.
Back to the gym.
You know, he said bags and we hitting heavy bags and
yeah. My man AB. All I know is this, man. With all that, I just feel like there was stuff there, flashes of greatness. But if I'm another 140 pounder in that division, I wasn't worried about what I saw from AB. Or 147, wherever he wants to campaign, whether it's 140 or 147, I wasn't afraid of what I saw from AB last night. And hopefully he can improve. So with that being said, I'm gonna throw it over to Trill Dollar Bill.
All right. Let's just start this off with Adrien Broner's been out of the ring for 2 years. He landed clean, effective punches. I do wish he let his hands go, but he busted him up. He used his jab well and left the fight without a mark. With that being said, I gave him the 2nd, the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. 6 strong rounds for a draw. There was a lot of swing rounds in the fight, like the 1st and the 4th or the 5th. I can't remember. So I can entertain a 115, 112 either way. I got to go back and watch the fight again, but after a 2-year layoff, he didn't look horrible. I just think our expectations of him are so high, and we tend to nitpick at everything he does because it's him. I don't think a lot of people hate him. They just wish he uses his talents and gifts we know he has and displays them once again like he has done once upon a time. The commentary was a little biased for my liking. They never gave Broner credit in the early rounds for keep snapping this kid's head back. They praised Santiago for missing shots, swinging wildly at times, holding low blows, rapid punches, and fighting dirty. But people have their favorites. But shout out to Artemares for trying to stay neutral. But the other guys totally dismissed anything Broner did in that fight. After the 3rd round, they was like, Broner is done. It started fanboying for Santiago, but shout out to Santiago for not making any excuses and showed a lot of grit and heart. It didn't go in there to lay down. Like I said before, I'm going to watch it again, but I'm not mad at Glenn Feldman's card. And I could have seen it either way. I think him talking to himself was him psyching himself up. Like he's been doing this whole training camp. If you just watched him in training camp, he's been talking to himself when he's been doing his runs, when he's been hitting his bag. It's just been his way of psyching himself up. And like Caden also said, I do wish he had that killer instinct like all the others had. When he had him hurt, I wish he would have came in and followed right after the right hand. Nobody I know sits there and pauses and looks at his work and said, woo! That frustrated me. I lost my mind. I completely lost my mind. I threw my water in the sky. I said, what are we doing here? I started sweating. It was crazy. Like I said, I got to go watch the fight again, but it was definitely good to see Broner in the ring again. He's battling his demons and letting his hands go in the battle of life. And that's what I think is dope. To come back from the depression, come back from everything he's been going through, and he still got court cases going on and everything. And he lost one of his close friends recently, dealing with all that while in camp. You know, he still mustered enough to go in there and put on a performance. It wasn't the best performance or a performance that I would like to see. But he definitely went in there and he did his thing. I try not to get too personal on this show. This is Boxing Bros. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I got a lot of respect for Broner. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff that people don't like him for, I give him credit for the things that I like him for. You know, to be able to put certain things away and put them to the side and step in that ring. And, you know, he didn't perform like I wanted him to, but, you know, he did his thing. He dropped a lot of weight. That's a lot. That's hard to do. We praised Tyson Fury for it. Coming back from the depression, we praised him for it. Look, I'm going to give him kudos. Shout out to Adrien Broner. I myself have, February 12th, made 30 days, you know what I'm saying, that I have not drunk any alcohol. March 12th, on a Friday, will be 60 days that I haven't drunk any alcohol. So we all are battling our own demons, and it's what you do. You know what I'm saying? It's how you handle these and fighting these battles of life, which is going to matter at the end of the day. And I think that Broner is letting his hands go in the battle of life. We just wish that he'll let his hands go in the battle in the ring. But shout outs to both gentlemen, Adrien Broner and Santiago.
Yeah, something you said that was evident to me too was, Bernstein's clearly not over that exchange he had with AB, when AB was like, "I'm not answering none of your questions," and then he was like, "I'm gonna ask your trainer." And he was like, "Gang, gang." You know what that means? Gang, gang. So they definitely you could tell a little bit that, because there was one point in the commentary where they gave it away that they weren't impartial, because I'm listening. And they were talking about how he wasn't letting his hands go, and that was cool. But then someone said, it might have even been Rinaldi, like, but he's coming to take over the sport of boxing.
Exactly.
That's not, that statement right there was ridicule. That wasn't impartial. That was nothing. You're clowning the dude. So I was like, I noticed that on the commentary as well. Conspira G.
All right. When I first watched, I actually watched it twice. I watched it last night and I watched it again this morning. When I first watched it, I thought AB actually lost. So the second time, I was like, but last night I actually didn't score it. Because I'm thinking Santiago from Puerto Rico, they brought him in here just to be food. We're going to see AB knock him out because they want to set up the AB versus, Regis Prograde fight, whatever. So I'm like, I'm not even going to bother scoring this. But then I was like, damn, I think homie lost. So I was like, all right, let me watch it again this morning. I had it a draw, right? Now, it could go either which way because you could, there were a lot of swing rounds, but it's like, but I was like, you know what? Benefit of the doubt, AB, I'll give you a draw. But I do have a lot of questions, major concerns, actually, to be honest with you. First thing, he doesn't let his hands go at all. But I'm thinking the reason why he does that isn't because, he chooses not to. He might just be old. Like, I know he's 31. He's an old 31. Like, he's been fighting his whole life. You know what I mean? And not to mention, it's like, when you reach like that pinnacle where you're making like millions of dollars in the sport, right? Maybe you're no longer motivated. You're no longer hungry, right? Now it's looking like he's just showing up for paychecks. Maybe he got bills to pay, he got child support, he got other things. So that motivation, that hunger isn't really there. Like, yeah, he lost like 40-something pounds.
Gee, I'm just ad-libbing here. He did flip $13 into $13 million, according to
God bless him. You know what I mean? And hey, keep doing what you're doing. But in that ring, you don't look motivated at all anymore. And to me, like, I felt like that fight should have been at 140. Because at 147, what that showed me was he's no longer a pay-per-view star at 147. Like, for real. Like, he will get outboxed by any of these top dogs at 147. So now it's like, can he compete at 140, right? And that performance, man, I'm sorry, I have to say, like, I think Regis is gonna knock him out, and it could be because he needs more time. He just lost a lot of weight. Give him some time to adjust. But I wasn't impressed by his performance. And another thing too, like at the beginning of the fight, they tried to present him as if like he's matured and he's grown, which I was like, yo, that's what's up. Even though I didn't really kind of like how I felt like that intro video painted him as a villain. And I'm like, if he's trying to mature, I would be like, if I was Broner, I'd be like, yo, come on, man. Like, stop highlighting all my negative moments. Like, let's stay positive, right? But then I was like, you know what? They're still saying he's trying to grow and mature. But he's doing the same antics in the ring. I mean, minus the humping. But, he's talking to the commentators during the fight. He should be looking at his opponent. He should be trying to, like, knock out his opponent. He's more concerned about everyone else around him. And I'm just like, yo, come on, bro. Like, I get it, man. You got to play this facade. But the facade only works when you're beating a person in impressive fashion. So, yeah, I'm not going to say it was a robbery. But I'll say this. The fix was in. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude's coming from Puerto Rico. 2 judges are from CT, 1 from New York. Like, they're going to favor AB over homie. So, like, second go around, I gave it a draw. But I can understand if a person's like, nah, yo, he lost. I'm like, it doesn't matter, man. This fight didn't matter to me anyways. You know what I'm saying? It only mattered if he violated homie. So then it's like, yo, the Regis pro grade fight versus Adrien Broner would be like huge. Now it's kind of like, I feel like it's going to be one-sided. I think Regis now is going to violate Broner. So I think Broner should have did a lot more for the sake of his career. But it is what it is, man. Salute to both gentlemen for getting in that ring.
We can go around on that Regis thing in a second. Ned?
I agree with a lot of things you guys said, but my thing from what I saw last night in the fight, my issue with Broner was his punching output. Like, he looked sharp defensively, and let's not forget, he took a 2-year layoff and he inactivity, and he was going through a lot, and he finally came back in the ring. So I'm not gonna like, he should have been phenomenal last night. But my only thing is, like, give us like a 3-4 punch combination every time you attack or something. It's just a hook or 1-2 or a jab or something. He backs off, and that's where I thought, like, when I was seeing how they were scoring the fight, everybody was giving to Santiago. I think a lot of the judges scored it for Santiago too as well. But when the ref announced it, they gave it to Broner. I was just like, that for me, that was shocking. I was like, I don't know how all the judges decided.
Ask a question. You said most of the judges gave it to Santiago.
Yes, when they was showing the cards, like how the judges scored the fight, it was like 118, 114 Santiago, 1-something Santiago, 1-something Santiago. It was like
Steve Farhood did his Steve Farhood scorecard don't count.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't.
Farhood is scoring about as a commentator. One of the people from Showtime scoring. His card is unofficial.
Those were unofficial cards. All right.
So how many fights you done watched?
I never seen. Like, it's been a while since I seen the Showtime fight, because like
every
ESPN, the Zone,
Andre Ward is the unofficial card on ESPN.
I hang up on her, brother.
Netites, this is what y'all producing, Netites.
Hey, yo, watch him up, G.
Hey, G, be careful. The TBE army might come for you.
That's right. Let me fall back. I don't want to be a bully.
You know, Ned's a made man. You got to get permission to attack Ned.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ned.
No, and I agree with Ned, though. That was Ned Sickers, what I was saying. The commentary was so biased. Even with Steve Farhood's scorecard, a casual would think that he got washed. And this was some huge upset. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, Ned.
So for me, that performance wasn't as bad. For a 2-year layoff to come back, it wasn't that bad, but I think he needs one more tuna fight before he goes against any of the heavy hitters or any of the top guys in either division. Just get another warm up. Make sure you out here and you just let them hands go, AB, and you're gonna do your thing, man. But I just think it was just the inactivity. You saw it last night. But I think he'll bounce back in his next fight.
All right, now you didn't tell me how you scored it though.
You know I don't be scoring my fight. My eyes scored. I don't score. My eyes scored.
I scored it, yo. So
that's right. Ned does the eye test at the end of the fight.
My thing is,
I think he won. That's right.
Santiago threw a lot of punches, but Broner didn't frustrate Broner. Like I thought Broner looked like the Mayweather defense. He was showing his little bob and weave technique, they getting out of the way of punches, throwing the jab. My thing was his punching output wasn't there. Like he didn't counter with more punches. He just countered with a jab or a hook and kept it moved back off of him. And that's where I think that's where the downfall may come in his next fight. He just gotta throw more punches. Yeah,
Who won?
It's a draw for me, baby.
Yo, so one thing I heard, this I want to clarify. Majority of Santiago's work was to the body. So, like in AB, majority of his work was to the head. So you can make the argument of who looked a certain way. Unless you can see Adrien Broner's inside, you don't know the impact of the punches Santiago was throwing to Adrien Broner's body. Now, to get to Regis Prograis, I'd say this. Santiago, from what I saw, he wasn't no scrub. Like, he did beat DeMarcus Corley, although it was a 42-year-old DeMarcus Corley.
Chop still in there. Chop, baby.
Yeah. Chop dropped him twice, and then he was able to win that fight against a 42-year-old Corley. But he beat Kano, who was pretty good in his own right. I think he beat Shane Mosley. So this guy, although he's not known, he does have some skill. And much like Otto Wallin, when he stood up to Tyson Fury, he may be better than we just thought. Like, we don't know. We don't know much about Santiago. So we're going to have to see Santiago in his next fight to see how good he is.
Yo, bro, that is crazy that you brought that up, because we said that against Molina when Broner fought Molina. And we was like, why is he having a difficult time with Molina? Then he beat Molina. And then we seen what Molina did to the Siberian Tiger. What was his name?
Who was that? Bogdankov?
Bogdankov. And then we were saying like, dang, maybe John Molina does got some pop, and maybe he does got a little skill in there. But yeah, just to mention that, because maybe we don't know. Maybe we see Santiago in there with somebody else, and he does wonderful.
Yeah, so when I first saw Santiago, I originally thought, yo, this guy's food. But he threw some punches to the body where I was like, those are some sharp punches to the body. So, like I said, I don't know. Maybe Santiago, we got to see. It's one of those things that we got to see. But get into the Prograis fight now. So I'm going to give everyone a chance to dive in on this. Bro, I am not impressed with Regis. Like, yo, I've been saying this still. Regis is, like, his technique is off. He's not the most technically sound person. Like, so, like, to say, like, oh, Regis is going to cook him, I think this is for them, this is a great fight, because I'm not that impressed with Regis, and I wasn't that impressed with Broner either. So, like, to say, like, I know for a fact that Regis will cook him, I'm like, yo, Regis, bro, like, you know, I've been watching Regis. I haven't seen anything from Regis where I'm like, yo, this dude is that guy. Like, you know, like he's not like, to me, technically sound. I don't really know. And I don't know that he eats a check hook from Broner the way that Santiago was able to survive it, the way that Sean Porter was able to survive it. Like, that check hook from Broner has hurt a lot of people, including Santiago, including Sean Porter. He took Emmanuel Taylor out with that. So I'm just saying, man, like, I'm not sitting here ready to say, oh, Regis is just going to cook Broner. But, you know, that's a good fight for the both of them. That's a little middle of the pack fight at this point to me. But
well, I'll say this. I'm saying this AB in this fight. Because, you know, that's always been a concern about AB, is not letting his hands go. But it seems even worse. You know what I mean? It's not like, I understand the inactivity, so that's why I'm giving him that benefit of the doubt. But if he continues on with I'd rather just check a dude, say something, look at everybody, and hope that's gonna win a round. That's not gonna work with Regis, right? Because Regis is gonna outwork him. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's just the volume of punches. AB's gonna do what AB does. I'm just gonna try to check hook him, maybe land a jab or two in a round, and that's it. While Regis is gonna try to take his head off. So that's why I'm like, you know what? I actually agree with Ned on this one. AB needs another tune-up fight. I think, but this time at 140, like lose that weight, get down to 140, and fight a tune-up fight and get ready just to get acclimated back to 140. And then let's see what happens. But as of right now, from that performance, if AB has to lose another 7 pounds and fight Regis right now, I think Regis is gonna wash him. I'm not gonna say wash.
He got a little 6. I think he came in at 146. Trill.
Oh, okay.
Regis Prograis and Adrien Broner. What are your thoughts on that?
There's a lot of things. I'm saying smiling, bro, because you nailed a lot of things on the head for me. Even though I like Regis Prograis, I like him a lot. I thought he was very competitive in that fight with Josh Taylor. At that one time, there was the 1 and 2 guy. They were both 1 and 2 at 140, and that was the big fight there. For the Muhammad Ali trophy. I think that was the Super 6 tournament that they had. And I was really rooting for him to win. I think I picked him to beat Josh Taylor, but Josh Taylor's boxing ability was on display. But I think that would be a good fight. People like with you said something, my brother, and people forget this about Broner. He really punches hard. Right? He really punches hard. People talk a lot of trash before the fight, but at the end of the fight, they're very humble. These guys are really humble after they fight Adrien Broner because this guy can really punch. I want to see, like Caden said, can Prograis take a punch like that, a check hook? Because he does let his hands go by his waist a lot. And he is susceptible to a lot of punches and those jabs. That's we seen Josh Taylor keep snapping his head back. Even though Josh Taylor fought an excellent fight. I don't know. Like Ned said, you put Broner in there again with some more another tune-up. Like we said, this is his first fight back after a 2-year layoff against a guy named Santiago who's been in tough. And maybe Broner wore those shorts last night for a chop shot call. You know what I'm saying? I was like, he eat chop shops, and maybe that's why he got those for chop shops.
Chop chops mixed with Camacho.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I would love to see that fight. I definitely don't see it being no wash, but I would like to see Broner in there with somebody else. And then if he goes in there with a Regis Prograis, look, Broner's dangerous, man. It's dangerous. You have never heard anybody disrespect this man, except for Sean, after getting put on his butt. Like, he ain't really hit that hard.
Sean say that about everybody, though.
Sean said that about everybody that beat him.
Sean tell it.
Face on the floor, he's like, wow.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Broner definitely hits hard. All he got to do for me is let his hands go. He let his hands go a little bit more than we have seen him in the past, in certain spots. But he got to get busy. He got to get busy. There was times in there I felt like Mike Stafford wasn't.
He got to get rid of Stafford, bro. I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off, bro. He got to get rid of Stafford.
Thank you. And I've been saying this for years,
man, bro. He's a yes man.
And that's why I like GT, because he was looking over the GT, and GT was really trying to tell him, like, yo, you gotta go, you gotta let your hands go, you gotta. So if you go back and listen to the fight, you guys listen when he was looking over the GT, and he was really asking yo, how am I doing? You know what I'm saying? It seemed like Mike Stafford got so used to babysitting these guys, not training, but babysitting these guys. No disrespect to Mike Stafford. I know you love those guys over there. You're like a father figure, but that's what you are. You're the sweet uncle. You're the nice uncle. You know what I'm saying? Like you run up to you give you all the hugs. I see you babysitting the kids. That's what you do. That's your job. I think it's time for him to get another trainer in there that's going to push Broner and tell him what he needs to do and not what he needs to hear, or not what he wants to hear. Excuse me.
No, I'm with you, bro. I was disappointed in Stafford and what he was saying to AB in the corner. It was just almost like he was feeding into Broner's own like perception and BS of what was happening in the fight, like not telling him like, yo, you need to do more, you need to do this. It was just like, oh, easy, baby, you're sharpshooting him. And I'm like, sharpshooting him, that round's razor thin. Here's another one, like, what are you doing? So I don't know with GT, doing the mitts and all that, it looks good, but the way they train Broner, bro, I'm being honest, I'm not surprised he doesn't throw more punches. He throws little combos, then he rests for like 3 minutes, then he throws little combos again. If you watch the way Floyd Mayweather trains, it is constant punching non-stop. It's mitt work. When the guy holding the mitts is tired, then he goes to Nate Jones and he bangs at the body. Then he goes back to the mitts. Once the guy's ready to go again, Nate Jones resting, then he goes and he bangs at the body. Then after that, he goes on a bag and he bangs the bag. And he wants everybody to shut the hell up. And when someone's like, woo, woo, when Floyd throws a punch, he goes, I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm self-motivated. But nah, people don't understand what he's saying. What he's saying is, I don't give a damn what you say. I know. I'm the only one who has to know because I'm the only one in the fight. Whereas Adrien Broner's like, did I win that round? Do you think I won that round?
Yeah.
Did I win? I'm like, come on, man. What the hell is wrong with you?
Even in the 12th round.
Now,
yeah. Even in the 12th round was horrible. When you didn't tell him to go out there and win that fight. Mike Stafford told him to be safe. Didn't tell him to go out there I'm like, what fight are y'all watching? You know what I'm saying? Y'all was going to leave it in the hands of the judges. Nah. He was like, oh, I know he's going to go out here and just be wild. Yeah, you need to go out there and throw some punches. You know what I'm saying? And go put him on his butt. If I was Mike Stafford, that's what I've been saying. You already got him hurt. Go out there and put him on his ass. You need to put him on his butt. Excuse my language. You need to put him on his butt and make a statement.
No, I don't. I honestly don't. I've been saying it for the longest time. I don't know what stops AB from throwing punches. I think a lot of it is the way he trains, his tank, his mental. I think, truthfully, another thing, I think he's afraid of getting knocked out in an exchange. Because if you look at the way Madonna dropped him, it was in an exchange. Like they traded, and Madonna got there first. And I think in his mind, it's like as long as he doesn't become a meme, like he's okay. I don't know what it is, but he needs to get over that psychological barrier where he lets his hands go. And I lost faith. Honestly, I'm done. I lost faith with this dude until I see it. And I'm hoping to see it, but God bless the late Dennis Green. Like he said, they are who we thought they were. Broner is who I think he is until he shows me otherwise. Ned, you got anything to add?
I'm just gonna say this. I don't think Regis Progress washes AB. I think it'll be like whoever is the aggressor, because they both fight a little timid. In Regis's biggest fight against Josh Taylor, he didn't look like he wanted it when it came down to the deciding moments. So it's similar to AB. It's just who wants it more, who's gonna throw more punches, who's gonna go out there and take that fight. So I think AB can actually beat Regis if they fight. So it's up in the air still.
That's it, brother.
That's it, man. I'm just, hey, man. This is a longer episode than I thought. I wonder if we seen the best of AB already. Maybe he did so much so early in his career, becoming 4-time world champion for different divisions, being up there with the likes of De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao, and Floyd. Maybe he did so much in the early stages that there's nothing left there, but time will tell. Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe, and check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.